Is it worth breaking the bank for IVF? How far would you go in your quest for a baby? Would you take out loans? Would you borrow from the family? Would you consider selling or maybe remortgaging your home? Or would that be a sign that your urge to have a child is getting out of control? Now, in theory, all women under 40 are supposed to get 3 free goes on the National Health Service. In Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, you do. In England, though, just as we heard, 1 in 10 cash-strapped clinical commissioning groups offer 3 goes. Others have brought in additional restrictions, I think barring women over 35, barring women who are overweight, barring women whose partners already have kids. In total, just over 40% of IVF is paid for by the health service. All the rest is funded privately, where one cycle could cost anything between £4,000 and £8,000, and where you have a 21% chance of success when measured across all age groups. Now, those who undergo IVF typically spend £11,000 of their own cash. My word, I have spent a lot more than that. 1 in 10 spend 30k. Okay, that's getting closer. Clearly, having a child means the world to a lot of people, but is it worth risking financial ruin when there's no guarantee of success? Now, we're joined by a number of very interesting people. I'm going to start by introducing you to Sophie Soleria. Good morning to you, Sophie.
Hello.
How much have you spent on IVF so far?
I was tallying it up last night, and I think it's probably between 40 and 50,000 on treatment. But that's not actually including the stuff that you're expected to do, including the nutrition and the acupuncture and every other alternative remedy that I'm sure you've tried, I've tried, everybody in our position's tried.
Yeah.
So, you know, just treatment alone is nearing 50 grand now.
Okay, I forgive me because everyone's got questions. You're going to go first, Laura?
Yeah, that's all. How did you raise the cash?
We were really lucky, to be honest. We've got really supportive friends and family. We had a credit card that was interest free, and you know, in terms of debt, financially, we've actually been really lucky in that we can borrow and we have paid it back. But you know, that doesn't, you've still got that guilt, haven't you, that you've borrowed from your elder relatives and your friends, and you just feel constantly that you need to pay them back. But that's not the priority right now because we haven't been lucky enough to have our baby yet. So you know, it would be nonsensical to try and pay it back. But, you know, but it's not just debt that you have financially, it's also just the fact that you emotionally, you know, it's the emotional debt, and it's the cost of everything really, your mental health and everything that IVF kind of
how many rounds have you done?
We've done 6 now. Wow. And we still haven't made it, which is obviously heartbreaking. But it's the truth, isn't it? You know, not everybody does. I think 75% of people don't.
I'm absolutely thrilled you'll come on television and talk about it. I mean, I do my little bit, but I always feel that I'm really talking about how Mrs. Wright feels, which isn't really my job. But I really salute you for doing it, because there'll be a lot of people that will be watching that will be able to relate to your story.
It's so important, isn't it, to talk about it. It's harder when you're not actually talking about it, because then it's just suffering inside, aren't you?
Maybe. A couple more questions, Larry?
Are you going to continue?
We've decided not to carry on with IVF in this form. I think we're exploring other options. We're kind of trying to open our minds to other options, but it's hard, you know.
And our finances are part of that decision.
Finances are always a part of every decision, aren't they? You know, you can't keep throwing money again and again at something that's not working.
Could I ask you on a personal level on that note? I've been much more concerned about what I see as the physical and mental toll than, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm working television, I get well paid, but I'm more worried about the physical and psychological toll on my wife than I am about the money. Do you worry about?
I think we both worry about that side of it. You know, we've both been through a really, really difficult time emotionally, as I said before. And, you know, IVF holds no boundaries. If you've got fertility or infertility problems, it doesn't matter if you've got money or if you don't. It affects anyone and everyone. As you say, it's not just on the wallet, it's on your mental health.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at this point, I'd like to bring in Caroline and Mick Lipchinsky. They're from London. The keener-eyed viewer will notice that they've also got 3-week-old Kaylee with them, so I guess IVF worked.
It did.
I'll let Larry, you can...
How much did you spend, I suppose, and how many rounds did you have to achieve this?
I personally spent over 30,000.
Okay.
How many
And-
rounds was that, Carolyn?
She was the sixth.
The sixth.
Okay.
Sixth.
And
What-
how did you get £30,000 together?
The 20,000 was with a previous partner, and we'd done it over the years. And then with Mick, we've been trying for 10 years. We've been together 10 years. And that was a loan.
You took out a loan.
A loan.
Carolyn, were you prepared? I mean, congratulations on,
Yes, well
on, your,
said.
on your
Thank you.
baby. But were the pair of you prepared to continue on after
Yes.
5 failed attempts?
Yeah.
Was there going to be a limit
I think,
financially and emotionally?
Every family deserves to feel like a family. Every couple, always seeks for that little bit of extra, and every woman wants to feel like a woman, I suppose. And yeah, we would have just
Found the money
done
from
anything
somewhere. Yeah.
that we had to do.
A
Until I
loan,
was told
as
no.
in a commercial loan, not from family or friends.
No, this was a loan from Migo.
So you're borrowing money for something that you may not get. Now, when
Yeah.
people normally borrow money buy a car or buy a house, there's something that you could always sell to repay the loan if you run into trouble.
You've always got to have that hope. You
And
know,
You see, this is at the heart of the debate, and I think I told you. I think between my first wife and second wife, I'm past 10 rounds. I think of IVF with the two partners, and I'm not sure clinging on to hope does anybody any good. Sometimes I'm really not sure.
Sometimes the hope is all you have. Sometimes you have to hold on to it. If you lose hope, then you lose faith. Then you feel like you lose something you've been struggling and fighting for so long, and that was not going to happen.
if I had that attitude, she wouldn't be here now.
And if she hadn't, do you ever wonder what it would have been like, or how far you'd have gone if Kaylee hadn't arrived?
Then at least we would have known we've tried our hardest.
Yeah.
And we.
But you would
by
also
God-
be potentially financially destitute.
Yeah, but we would have lived knowing that it was for that cause. It could have worked, anything
Yeah.
could have worked and not worked, but it's
So-
so worth it. It was so worth
So
the
we
risk.
have given up on things
budgeted.
like holidays and cars
I think
and.
we wouldn't have taken a loan if we wouldn't known that we can comfortably pay it off over the course of how many years. They're actually really, really reasonable, more reasonable than people seem to think. So it's not like we've put ourselves in against the wall situation. We knew we would have been comfortably paying it off for a long time, but it's, as I keep saying for every 5 minutes, it's so worth it, every single penny.
Every penny.
Now, there's a little bit of icing on your particular cake as well with regard to the loan, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
There is.
So what happened?
When they heard of our story, the loan company, they cleared the whole debt.
The CEO actually did recorded the video for their webpage as an advertisement, and CEO watched it and apparently cried, and he said, "I can't let these people pay for it."
My
Well,
goodness.
that's a
They
very
wrote it
nice
out. It's very heartwarming to know that there's still humanity in humanity.
Yes. In loan companies.
Now, the phones are red hot. I'd like to extend the invitation to all three of you. Hear anything you'd like to comment on? Just start talking. Our cameras will find you. Okay. And likewise, you guys on the panel. So let's cut to the chase. Storm. Who's up first?
We've got Joanne calling from Worcestershire.
Morning, Joanne.
Morning.
Morning. Is it worth breaking the bank for IVF?
Oh, yes, we certainly did. We used credit cards and we took out a wee loan, and the basic IVF treatment costed us just over £20,000, and that doesn't include, to and fro in from the clinic, blood tests, which you have to pay privately for, or the medication or the extra medication that's required. And we weren't eligible for any support from the NHS whatsoever because we are in a same-sex marriage. And when speaking to our GP and the doctors, we were told that no, straight away, we're not eligible because there's nothing medically wrong with either one of us as to why we couldn't have children. So we basically got told to go and sleep with a man.
Okay. I'm assuming that it paid off in terms of you have a child?
We have two 11-month-old twins,
So,
which is amazing.
so after all the goes, so 20 odd grand invested. Do you ever wonder how far you might have gone if your bundles of joy had not arrived?
We probably would have kept trying for another 2 or 3 tries. I mean, it's not just the expense, it's the emotional toll, it's the physical toll that it has on your body as well. and on your relationship, because going through hormone changes is not easy on a relationship at all.
No, it isn't.
And I think, although finances come into question, of course it does, also the health of yourself and your relationship is also questioned.
So that's quite interesting. So I'm gleaning from this, Joanne, that you might have carried on, but there was an end. There was some kind of psychological end in sight, that you were aware it's not just about money, it's not just about having a child, it's actually about our bodies.
It is. It's about everything. It's the emotions, it's the mental health, it's the physical toll, as well as the on the bank. It's not an easy thing to go through at all.
No. It's always worth consoling ourselves, those of us that don't have children. It does cost £250,000 now to bring a child up to the age of 21. Something for you two to think about as well. The money never stops. The money never stops. Lovely talking to you, Joanne. Let's try another, please.
We've got Helen calling from Edinburgh.
Good morning, Helen.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How far did you go to breaking the bank then?
Well, we didn't actually totally break the bank. Our treatment so far has only cost us £9,000,
Right.
but we're doing our last frozen embryo transfer at the moment.
Right.
And if this one doesn't work, then we're going to a private clinic in the Czech Republic where it's £2,500 to £3,000 for a cycle.
Okay. Any concerns or reservations about that, or it's a free market and you just go where you choose?
I mean, I've had two friends have babies over in the Czech Republic through the same clinic, and they have exactly the same success rates as they do in the UK. Here in Scotland, we do get a little bit more help, but because I turned 40 during my treatment, we did have to pay for an awful lot of treatment, and this round itself is costing us £900 just to put the frozen embryo back in. And we couldn't afford to do it again over here, so the Czech Republic's our only option.
Do you have an end in sight, one way or the other?
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough to have our son through IVF, and we want to give him a brother or sister. But I tried for 15 years, having had a motorbike accident in my early 20s. I lost my fallopian tubes, and it's heartbreaking. I really understand exactly how mentally tolling it is, and I mean, my personal bugbear is baby on board seats in cars. I sit in traffic and I look and think, congratulations, you used your womb. And it's mentally, the toll on you mentally, and then you having to spend the money to try and get your dreams is just so difficult. It's so hard.
So what was your end game? What were you thinking? You were 2 goes in the Czech Republic and knock it on the head? Or?
I think we'll do a round in the Czech Republic. I'm 43 this year. I'm under no illusions that my age is against me. But if it doesn't work, we've got Joe through the IVF, and he's amazing. So that'll be enough. But I appreciate there are people out there who never succeed.
Helen,
it is heartbreaking.
Lovely talking to you as well. You really pick up the stories, the roller coaster ride, that whether it's successful or not, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Oh, someone's waking up. Let's be quiet, Simon. One more call if we can.
We've got Pippa from London.
Morning, Pippa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. Where are you on IVF then?
Well, we've been lucky enough to have quite a lot of treatment through the NHS. We've now been doing IVF for 5 years. I've kind of gone as far as I can with the NHS, and now we're kind of having some private treatment with our NHS hospital.
Right, yes.
We've only just started that. We've kind of said in our heads, if that doesn't work, we're looking at a clinic in Harley Street, and then the prices start really racking up. And we've kind of said in our heads, maybe kind of between 15 and 20 grand we would have a limit of. But I think, it's difficult to say, because it really does take such an emotional and physical toll on your body, that, it's such early stages, it's difficult to say how far we would go. But I think we wouldn't spend as much as £80,000. I think we'd probably be looking at putting that funding into enjoying our life, possibly adopting, and giving a child another chance that doesn't have the kind of best start in life.
Pippa, I wish you all the very best of luck, whatever your outcome. I'm going to give the last word to the two women in our audience. Who wants to go? Sophie, what would you say to people watching today?
I just think that it's great that we're all talking about it so often now, that it's not a taboo, and that the stigma of IVF is now broken, and well, at least we're heading towards that, and that we can talk openly about what is an extremely difficult thing to go through.
Fantastic. Well done, you. Good luck, whatever you decide for the future. What would you like to say?
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
23 years I tried.
Wow.
And here you go.
Well, I hope.
And I lost both fallopian tubes as
As well.